Hello students, welcome back for your power system protection class, class number 3 I guess, right, third class. So let us continue with the module 1. So your today's slide begins from primary and backup protection. Okay. Primary and backup protection for power system equipments. So here, what is primary protection and backup protection? Primary comes first. Primary means the one which comes very first. So the primary protection is the first line of defense. It is also called as first line of defense, and it is also responsible to protect all the power system elements from all types of faults. You got it? It is responsible to protect the whole power system elements from all the different types of faults, and it is called as the first line of defense. Means it is the first which comes for the protection, and it has got the responsibility to provide protection first. Then we have the second one, backup. The backup protection comes into play or into action only when the primary protection fails. Got it? Only if only if your primary fails. It happens sometimes. Okay, after all, electrical and electronics both are involved into this, right? So possibility is there. So if there is a failure in primary protection, then there should be a protection which is acting from back end side. So this is called as backup protection. If primary fails, then backup should come into action and protect your system. Understood? So this is your primary and backup protection. So in this, we have in backup protection we have different uh, the backup protection is provided as main protection if it fails. And why does it fail? There are some reasons listed out. You can see why does primary fail. A primary may fail when a failure in circuit breaker happens. It may fail when a failure in protective relay happens. I have told you, relay and circuit breaker operates together. Relay job is to sense the fault, and circuit breaker job is to take the signal from relay, take the command from relay and break the circuit. If any one of this is not operating, it doesn't work. Then we have failure in tripping circuit. Tripping circuit comes in between circuit breaker and relay. The relay sends a command to circuit breaker through this tripping circuit, and if this commands doesn't reach circuit breaker, then primary doesn't operate. Then we have failure in DC tripping voltage. The DC tripping voltage means the supply required for your triggering circuit. The supply required for your triggering circuit. Then we have loss of voltage or current supplied to the relay. If power itself fail for the relay, then relay will not be in a condition to give a command to your circuit breaker, right? So all these are factors which can cause your primary protection to fail, and if this happens, then your backup protection will come into action and it will operate. Okay, we'll see how it happens. One more important thing here, in the blue line, can you see the blue line? When the protection is made inoperative for the maintenance purpose, then the backup protection acts like the main protection. So here, regularly, regularly maintenance needs to be done for your power system equipments. Then different all the switch gears, all the protective equipments also require maintenance, like circuit breakers, relays, okay, current transformer, potential transformers, all these require maintenance. So during their maintenance, so you need to switch off your primary protection. So if you switch off your primary protection, what should we switch off the power supply for consumers? No need, right? No need, right? So we can keep on supplying power supply for the consumers from generating side, but during this your backup protection will be acting as your main protection. Understood? Your backup will act as primary, because primary is under maintenance for short time. short duration. This is also one of the application of backup protection. Huh. This is very important here. The arrangement of backup protection should be such that the failure in primary should not cause the failure in backup protection as well. Very, very important point, huh? Like, due to some reason, if your primary protection fails, then your backup protection should come into action, right? This is all what we desire, right? We want like this, we expect like this, we have backup. If something goes wrong with primary, then we still have backup, right? What if backup also goes off because of primary? This should not happen, right? So in no case fault should cause a damage to your primary as well as backup protection. It should not damage, right? So whatever happens to primary, backup should be there to protect your system. This is satisfied, in red I have written, this is satisfied if backup relaying and primary relaying not have anything common. Hence, general backup protection is located at different stations from primary protection. So, as I mentioned, primary protection, if it fails, it should not affect your backup protection. So, when does it happen? Like, for example, if the power supply is common for primary and backup, if power supply is common for primary and backup protection, then if power supply fails, primary as well as backup both will fail, right? Isn't it? So I have written there, primary and backup should not have anything common in them, such as power supply or something like that. Okay. So they make sure that backup protection operates with a different source of power, and primary operates with the line power itself. Okay. So even if the primary protection fails, then backup is still present with its own independent power supply, power source, such as we provide power source with battery inverter or some backup we will provide. So from there it takes the power supply and it comes into action whenever primary fails. So last point, from the cost and economy point of view, the backup protection is employed only for the protection against short circuit and not for any other abnormal conditions. So from economy point of view means uh, production the protection of power system itself will cost a big percentage into the total investment on capital cost, total investment of your power system. So big portion goes for protection. Now in from this big portion for protection, if you provide separate backup protection, again it will involve huge investment, right? So backup protection is employed only for the purpose of short circuit faults. As you know, short circuit is the most dangerous fault. So rest all faults can be overcome with your primary protection, and that is enough. That is enough. Okay. So this is enough for you. A small diagram, simple diagram. Note down this diagram. This is to show you primary and backup protection. Primary protection, backup protection, both come in same line in series. So if there is a fault, if there is any fault in the line, primary protection should come into action. It should protect your system with the help of circuit breakers and relays, current transformer, potential transformers. All switch gears will come into action. If this fails, then you have backup protection, and this backup protection has got its own independent power source. Okay. Different types of backup protection, different methods. We have got different methods: 1 2 3 4. Relay backup protection, then we have breaker backup protection, third remote backup, third centrally coordinated backup protection. So in first one, relay backup means, in this scheme, one single breaker is used by both primary as well as backup, but the two protective schemes are different. Understood? You have got primary protection as well as backup, but in this the relay is common, one single relay for both protection, one method. So here relay is common, it can be used. it can be used when you uh, economy study is done. Based on economy study, a relay can be kept as common for primary as well as backup. Again, it depends. If you don't want, means it goes into different category. Second one, you can say breaker backup. In this method, separate breaker is provided for primary as well as backup. See, here it is done. Primary protection has got different circuit breaker, and backup protection has got different circuit breaker. Whereas in first one, single circuit breaker. Single circuit breaker is acting for primary as well as backup in first one. Whereas in second one, you have got separate circuit breaker for primary and secondary. Primary and secondary. Third, you have remote backup protection. In this method, third one, separate breakers are provided from primary and backup protection. The two types of breakers are at different stations, means different places, isolated, different stations, and completely isolated and independent of each other, means they do not have anything in common between them. Understood? Power supply is different, power source is different, place is different, completely isolated and remoted from far away. Then we have fourth one, last, centrally coordinated backup protection. In this method, a central control system is there. A, a control a controller inspects the load flow and frequency in the system. If any of the element of the part or the power system fails, such as load, then the load flow gets affected, which is sensed by the operator in the control room. So, an operator is sitting in a control room monitoring all your load flow parameters, frequencies, everything, the generation, the load, the frequency, everything is being monitored by an operator, and the control source consists of digital computers which decide the proper switching action. This method is called a centrally coordinated backup protection. So this comes under control. Uh, con- uh, this is all coming under computer control. So all the data is being fed to the system. So system itself can take a decision for the protection if the system is exceeding the safe limits. So then the system will take decision, or the operator will take a decision, and the action will be uh, given to the relays and circuit breakers to operate. Okay. So yeah, a small diagram to show the concept of backup relaying. A, C, B, all the blocks are representing breakers. Huh? Here, like A and C, you can see. So one will be acting as primary, other will be acting as backup. If one fails, the other is there for the protection, like this. Everywhere you can see two blocks, right? One for main protection, other one is for backup protection, same thing. So this will continue in next class. Okay. So till then, we'll stop it here. Okay. Thank you.